Hey, this is the Antisocial Socialite back at it again. Shout out to all of you wonderful new subscribers and returning friends. Welcome. If you are new to the channel, you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for, darling? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so when I get to running this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. Why do black women insinuate age gap relationships are Billy? Recently, Kevin Samuels yet again was kicking up a storm, stating that he, as a 51-year-old man, is literally beating off 20-year-olds with a stick. This comment had many black women, in fact women in general, up in arms. Every time the conversation about a younger woman being with an older man comes up, women of various ages and races seem to be absolutely mortified at the prospect of being with an older man. Now, I will say this, I don't necessarily support a huge age gap. Everybody can do what they want to do, and I'm hoping that they find love and happiness. I believe that there are some youthful people, as in young in age, who just generally have a much older soul. They just vibe better with older people. Maybe they're much more quiet, they're homebodies, they like to be home all the time with just friends and family or on their own. And that's something that's more conducive to somebody who's older, who's already been there and done that and got the t-shirt. And so I get that there are some people who just like being with older men. And I'll be honest, as much as I don't agree with encouraging significant age gaps because there is a culture difference, I do support women trying to seek men who are more established. And a man who's more established tends to just simply be older. So I don't want this to come across like I'm encouraging a 20-year-old to be with a 60-year-old. And if you are in your 20s with a 60-year-old, good luck and I hope you all the best. But generally I talk about women trying to seek men who are maybe 5 to 10, maybe up to about 20 years their senior, because by that time he's established. He knows what he wants in life. He's got his money right. You can see who he is as a person. By that time, his character is fully set. And so you know what you're getting when you get there. It's not like when you start out with somebody at a very young age and there's prospects for them to change or to grow. There are benefits and there are drawbacks, whichever route you take. So in this video, I'm going to discuss 5 reasons why I believe black women and older women in general try to insinuate that an older man wanting a younger but legal age woman is somehow predatory. One of the things that you will often hear me say is that no one sabotages women like other women. And as much as people try to insinuate that an older man wanting to be with a younger woman is somehow predatory, this is a two-pronged attack against younger women and older men. Now, before I address some of the harsher stuff, I'll give ladies the benefit of the doubt. The first thing I'm going to talk about is ignorance. They just don't know what they don't know. They've been told, or they heard from somebody, or they assumed, or they kind of project that if somebody has a 20-30 year age gap, then 20-30 years prior, they would have liked the female when she was a child. This is obviously not the case if they met when they were both adults. So because of the nature of the age gap, there's maybe stigma or fear that the older man can run rings around the younger woman. She's immature, she's naive, she's gullible, therefore she's easy to control. So there's an element of fear for the young lady that she could be taken advantage of. While this is true and there is an element of that as a potential risk, the reality is this: whoever has the higher degree of experience is going to be the one with more control in that situation. they have a higher ability to manipulate or control their partner simply because they have the experience to do so. That's not specific to either gender, and it's not necessarily specific to age either. If you have a very naive male with a very experienced female, she can run rings around him just as easily, even if she's younger than him. So the age is not really the issue, it's more a case of experience. Many females can attest to being very young, underage, and being approached by older men. So maybe there's a fear that carries on into adulthood that correlates an older man approaching a young, underage female, even though this is not the case when you have a legal adult female being approached by an older man. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It could just be simple projection. The next reason why women discourage younger women from being with older men and label this kind of relationship as predatory is because a significant number and a growing number of women are single. They're lonely. They understand that their only source of companionship is other women. Therefore, the more they see their friends, maybe their daughters and family members getting married, the more likely it is that they will leave and they won't come back. I hear that the average female relationship only lasts around 10 years. That's a friendship, that is. Therefore, if you have females in your life, the more that they have partners and the responsibilities of kids, the greater chance there is that you will lose contact with them. As they go off to start their own life, they won't have as much time and energy for friends and even their own family. So sabotaging young girls from getting with established men reduces the chances of them ever becoming established themselves. You see, if you are a lady and you get into a relationship with a dysfunctional male, chances are if that relationship breaks down, you will come back. So sometimes women will deliberately encourage their female friends and family members to get with men who are not established or stable, simply because when that relationship fails, those women will be forced to come back and seek their support. A man who has his things together, who is established, can provide a woman with a life that is significantly better than maybe what she had before. So the prospect of returning to the women she left behind drastically goes down. Again, a man who is older is more likely to be grounded, knows what he wants in a relationship, and is going to be financially more stable. And that's going to offer and provide security for women who are looking for that. So discouraging relationships between older men and younger women ensures that these women maintain their companionship. Friends and daughters become pseudo-husbands, providing emotional, practical, and even financial support. The next point is obvious, the green-eyed monster. It's just jealousy. Nothing is going to make a woman feel her age than standing next to a firm, child-free, slender female that's decades younger than herself. And not only that, times have changed and is rapidly changing. The generation gap is getting much shorter. People are different from 10 years ago and unrecognizable from 20 or 30 years ago. The way that culture has changed so rapidly means that even women who are not particularly old, they feel much older than they would have done in times gone by. And that's because nowadays there's so many advances in technology that things that were not even thought of 10, 15 years ago are so easy and readily available that women who are not old, because being middle-aged is not old, feel like maybe they're missing out on opportunities they wish they had when they were in their youth and in their prime. And so standing next to a younger woman and seeing the opportunities open up before, we get it. Feminism has created avenues for women to do bigger and greater things than ever before. Now, I'm not a person who would identify as a staunch feminist. Yes, I think it's great that women can vote, they can work and be educated. But my personal belief is the core of feminism was created to hate and to replace men. And so many of the things that feminism promotes are counterproductive for women to actually have relationships with men. But with that being said, a number of opportunities and avenues have opened up for the modern woman that wasn't available to women 20, 30 years ago. And just the sheer jealousy of seeing these younger women being able to experience a level of freedom that they never had can cause them to want to sabotage younger women. And one of the reasons why these women will have avenues opened up to them is if they get with older, successful men, because they'll be able to go on trips, they will get gifts, they won't have the hardship and the struggle that a lot of women maybe decades ago had to face. This is nothing more than the crab in the barrel, misery loves company mentality. Now we have to get into the little bit more insidious stuff. The next one I'm going to touch on is the removal of competition. Now, competition between women is something that women don't like to talk about or even admit exists. And it's very strange because the same women who don't want to admit that there's competition will then subconsciously and even consciously do things to outcompete with their friends. How many times have you been out and you've seen two friends in the same outfit? I never personally did it to that extent because I like my own identity. But me and my friends always used to laugh when we would see girls going out dressed in the same outfit, and there was always one that looked great and one that didn't look quite right. And I thought to myself, the one who looks great, were you the one that picked this outfit, knowing that this dress or this outfit or that hairstyle would suit you and not your friend, to deliberately make you stand out? There are certain cuts that just fit certain body shapes better. And when you guys got ready, did you not see that your friend didn't look quite right? I remember years ago we were having a party. I was a guest, but I arrived early to help prepare. And the host was saying, I want to pick out an outfit. So I suggested a particular outfit. And to my surprise, she said, oh, I don't want to wear that. That's something my friends would wear. So I thought, why are they your friends if you look down on them that much? But women don't like to admit how much they are in competition with other females for attention, for validation, for partners, to show off their relationships. When you confront them with the notion of a sisterhood, they will tell you, yes, the sisterhood is strong, and that we love all women and we care about all women, and that all women are equally valuable. And then she will go to her room and adorn herself for 3 hours to look hotter and fiercer than every other female in the room. When you confront them with the idea of female competition, they will say it doesn't exist. But everything that they do and say speaks to the opposite. And so older women understand on a subconscious level that a female who is not only more youthful in appearance, probably has a higher degree of fertility, but more importantly has the attitude that makes her desirable, makes her a huge threat and competition. Younger women tend to have had fewer negative experiences, and on top of that, they're just more excited about life. They're less jaded, they tend to be less confrontational depending on who they've been influenced by, and they tend to be easily impressed. And that's not such a bad thing. I mean, how do you give a gift to somebody who's got everything? I don't know about you, but I rack my brains trying to listen to every conversation or trying to find something that they don't have. And then you end up picking a very generic gift, or you end up giving a gift card and saying, here's some cash, go and pick whatever you want. And for women who've had a lot of life experience, lived on their own, done a lot of things, and with all due respect, acquired some baggage, maybe they have kids, they have a life of their own and are set in their ways, the prospect of trying to win over such a woman is just much more difficult. She's more jaded about life. I don't mean experienced, and I don't mean knowledgeable. I mean she's fed up. She's decided already, men are like this, she is like this is what she wants, and she's not flexible, she's not movable. But most importantly, she's not teachable. A female who is much younger is more willing to be on the program of the man she's getting with. And so this makes her more desirable to a guy, not a guy who's manipulative or controlling, just an average guy who wants a cooperative, supportive, feminine, submissive helpmeet. By knocking younger women out of the competition, The bar gets lowered and raised simultaneously. The standard or the expectation that men are allowed to have, and that will bring me to my next point, goes up in age and, with all due respect, down in options, because the women that the men find the most desirable are actually now made off limits to them, meaning men will be forced to date women who are older and maybe have more baggage. So as I said, this brings me to the final point, where it's making men afraid to pursue what's in their best interest. Now, I'm not saying all women need to be pregnant and barefoot. I get it, more people don't even want kids, and that's their right. It's understandable that in the current climates that we live in, it is very challenging to start a family and to keep up with all the expenses of rearing children. As everybody knows on this channel, I always encourage women to really evaluate whether they want a high quality of life versus a high quality lifestyle. Because I've noticed a lot of people who have low incomes often are happier than people who have a lot of cash. And that's because they're not burdened and bogged down with constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses. And so a lot of money doesn't equate to a lot of happiness. A lot of us are known people who have wealth and they're very miserable. So we have to be clear, do we care more about quality of life or quality of lifestyle? But many men who do want to take on a long-term relationship, and obviously over this side we promote marriage, they want a family. And that means that they have the opportunity to start their own legacy with a woman who's younger, because the chances of her having children are smaller. The man wants a woman that he finds desirable, that has a good mentality, that doesn't have a certain history, that she's not going to come into the relationship with certain additions like children from previous relationships. And those things are going to make him happy. So women who may not identify as feminists may not realize that by telling men that it's wrong for them to desire younger women, this is a feminist mentality, because at the core of feminism is not only a hatred for men, but it's the denial of men having anything pleasurable to them. If men like long hair, feminists will tell you cut the hair short. If men like slender women, feminists will say you should embrace body positivity. Recently, Bumble has been telling men that they will block them from the site if they refuse to accept plus size black women and trans women. So you're forcing straight men who have their right to their own preference to not only be with women they don't find physically arousing, but actually to be in a relationship with men. Now, I know that's controversial because a lot of people will say a trans woman is still a woman, but we all know that many trans women have not even been through the operation to change over their reproductive organs to at least appear like a cisgendered woman. And so you're forcing homosexuality on straight men, but that's a conversation for a different video. Anything that men find desirable and pleasurable in women is often going to be something you'll find in women that are younger. And so this is a feminist move to limit men's sexual choices and opportunities for happiness. You know, a lot of women, they have an issue with the concept of the wall. They don't like the idea that there's going to come an age where women cannot attract the kind of men that they once could. And this is kind of hypocritical, bearing in mind that the same women who will discourage you as a younger woman from getting with an older man will not only spend hours changing their face, engaging in surgeries, applying creams and potions and makeup to give the illusion that they are several years younger, but they will also say, when you ask them their age, the first thing to come out of their mouth is, before I tell you my age, I just want you to know I don't look my age. So let me know what you think in the comment section. What are your feelings and thoughts on age gap relationships? Are you yourself in an age gap relationship? Are you a woman with an older man? You see, society has an issue with older men being with younger women, but praises women for being a cougar. Share this video with somebody who needs to see it. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.